everyone, and welcome to Growth Stage, where we discuss how digital product companies can increase the value of their business. I'm your host, David Vogelpohl. I support the digital product community as part of my role here at FastSpring, and I love to bring the best of the community to you here on Growth Stage. In this episode, we're going to be talking about getting the most out of your web to app funnels for your mobile apps with the new FastSpring and FunnelFox integration. And joining us for that conversation is someone who knows quite a bit about web to app as well as the integration. I'd like to welcome to Growth Stage the founder of and CEO of FunnelFox, Andrey Shakhtin. Andrey, welcome.
Thank you very much. Hi, David. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Really excited to have you here and be able to kind of unpack web to app strategy a little bit. And for those watching and listening, what Andrey and I are going to talk about today are his thoughts on the top challenges for growing a mobile app business in today's environment, how web to app is opening up new opportunities for app publishers and developers, what is allowed and not allowed in direct monetization, and what you can do to take advantage of this trend, including leveraging the new FunnelFox and FastSpring integration. So before we get into the meat of the topics here, Andrey, I was kind of curious. I ask a similar question of all guests of Growth Stage. But what was the first mobile app or in-app purchase that you bought with your own money? Like, what was the first thing you spent money on a mobile app?
Oh gosh, it was quite a long time ago. Yeah, I have been working with mobile apps. I think it's like already 16 years, and I working a lot on like developing mobile apps and testing them and selling them. So I tested a lot different apps, including like starting trials, starting subscriptions. But I think that like the first purchase that I made consciously for me, it was like something like music streaming app or something like this. I don't remember the name of the app. Yeah.
Music streaming app, that's a good one. I think mine was I paid $99 for a Garmin map app, like in the very early days of mobile, before like Apple Maps and Google Maps were free and on the phone. I spent $99, I think, on the app. And it's funny that you mentioned a music streaming app because there's this construct, I think, with direct monetization in apps where companies come to the that strategy with different perspectives. And music streaming apps, in my mind, are often associated with, of course, music streaming companies. And if you go to Spotify or if you go to Pandora, I guess back in the day, maybe when you were testing this thing, if that was popular back then, and you said, what kind of company are you? They would say, we're a streaming company. And then they would say, and we have an app and we have a website and all these other ways you can consume us. And this idea of direct monetization is just a standard part of doing business for a streaming company. It's not like this new thing they think about. But I feel like other companies that are kind of maybe more app first or mobile first, direct monetization might be more foreign to them. So I think it'll be interesting to understand some of the dynamics here as we dive in. Before we get to the kind of more meatier questions, though, I'm just curious for those that are not familiar, if you could explain a little bit about what FunnelFox does and what you do there.
Yeah, sure. FunnelFox is a end-to-end platform for building, launching, and scaling your web funnels, which means that you can distribute your app subscription on the web, acquiring new traffic and new audience from web campaigns and new channels, new user acquisition channels, and just sell subscription on the web and then redirect users to app downloading, which provides you a lot of benefits, basically. So our platform includes basically its core product is a funnel builder with different integrations, including FastSpring for enabling payments for selling subscriptions, And the main benefit probably is that we help customers to launch faster and with the highest metric, because we implemented all the best practices on the market inside the product, so you can build a funnel with the best practice and start with already like good metrics and high performance.
So that's a really good way to frame it, launch faster and with inheriting all the best practices that you and your team have kind of acquired and implemented into the platform. And it's interesting as we kind of talk through what it does. I feel like FunnelFox is one of those things where like pictures worth 1,000 words. We're not really doing like the screen sharing thing here today, but just so people can visualize, if I'm building a funnel in FunnelFox, the start of the funnel is effectively a social ad, an ad on Instagram typically. Is that right?
Yeah, it could be Instagram or TikTok, for example, Google. Um, yeah,
Okay.
it can also can be like organic traffic as well.
And so I'm starting at a place, either social ads or I guess organic as well. And then the user is directed to a web funnel. So not directly to download the app in the App Store, but to a web funnel. And that web funnel is powered by FunnelFox. So I guess if you were to do this on your own, you could code your own mobile web funnel and then try to capture those best practices and iterate on it and integrate all the tracking and payments and everything on your own. And then FunnelFox effectively makes all that easy, like a non-technical marketer, non-technical founder, even a technical person who just wants to save time can go in and quickly set up these highly optimized funnels. Is that a good way to think about what FunnelFox does?
Yes, that's true. So basically, yeah, we just like help our customers not to take care of like infrastructure things, but on the product side, about mobile app and distribution this product across different audiences, different channels.
And this is, I think, a really interesting opportunity, and we're going to get into it as we dive into more of these topics. So we can go ahead and transition here to getting into more of the meat. But what do you, in your view, it sounds like you've been involved with mobile app development and growth for, it said, I think you said 16 years earlier. You've seen a lot change in the mobile app industry. What do you think the top challenges are today for mobile app publishers? Like what is, I guess, making it more difficult to grow and find success?
Yeah, sure. I think that like the biggest challenges is that the lack of flexibility of the App Store and the levers for growth. If you just like stick with the only like in-app purchases, because you have a restriction regarding attribution when Apple introduced IDFA restrictions in 2021, and basically it it killed almost like all approach with working with paid channels with social media campaigns, because you cannot attribute the exact campaigns, exact ads to purchase to user actions, and high commissions as well. So it's 30%, from 15 to 30%, which is quite ridiculous compared to web payments fees, and additional restrictions in terms of App Store reviews and monetization, flexibility, and all the things. So you need to like to be framed by App Store rules and guidelines, and it's all work against app developers, I think, that right now. And so there was a time when App Store helped app developers to distribute the apps when there was a lot of App Store traffic, organic traffic, and etc. But nowadays it doesn't work like that anymore. So it's just mostly only restrictions than like channel to distribute the app.
So It's interesting to hear you invoke app stores driving growth for app developers and publishers. And I think like one of the tailwinds, the things helping app publishers, of course, is the rise of agentic development. I can create and optimize features faster than ever. I can create an app faster than ever. I may be able to create an app even if I could never create one before, because I wasn't technical enough. Do you feel like the dramatic increase in the number of apps is also what's driving this push for ASO to not be as effective as it has been in the past? Like,
Yeah,
are there just more apps competing?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's the amount of the new apps increased since AI adoption increased. But the problem is that it's not enough to build and develop the app. It's and especially when we have like this the low barrier for developing apps and launching new app. The distribution is the king right now. So it's like it's all about the cheap channels for distribution, for positive unit economics with these channels, and growing revenue through these channels. That's the thing, and it's just not enough. Just develop app and put it on a store. Yeah, you need to run traffic, you need to run campaigns or some viral mechanics, etc.
Yeah, there's a old baseball movie with a slogan that says, "If you build it, they will come." I won't go into the movie, but I think your point here is just because you build a good app doesn't mean you're going to get attention and it's going to grow. And that the kind of drastic increase of the number of apps that are happening with the rise of agentic development means there's even more pressure than ever on organic growth in ASO.
Yeah,
And so publishers, it feels like are being like forced more than ever to take advantage of other organic growth levers. And then also, of course, paid. And to your point, if I'm a UA manager and I'm out there trying to get new users into my app, and I'm pointing those UA campaigns to download the app directly from the App Store, I'm getting cut off from a lot of data that I can use to help optimize those campaigns. And
yeah,
then I guess you pointed out also I'm having to deal with lower profitability than I might be if I'm monetizing that directly, paying those high commissions, if you will, and then also dealing with restrictions on how I can price and package, merchandise, and monetize my apps. So I'm kind of giving up a lot of control, but I'm not necessarily getting the organic benefit from ASO. Is that a fair way
exactly,
to think about it?
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And of course, like App Store provides also the convenient platform with like payments, for example. Yeah, it's payment infrastructure is quite convenient, but not distribution. And I think the App Store doesn't fit app developer needs nowadays in terms of like distribution, in terms of it's not marketplace anymore. Basically, it's just like a catalog of app for downloading the app and payment infrastructure probably, and that's it.
Yeah, because that's like, and I guess this is like literal businesses, so maybe the word social contract isn't the right way to phrase this, but like, I feel like the trade-off of participating in the app stores, at least initially, was like, hey, we're going to bring you lots of customers.
Yeah,
And in the early days, it seemed like that was actually really true, and it was a good trade-off. Like, yeah, I'll give up 30% if you're going to create the platform and get awareness and get me new users. But in today's world, I don't know how many total apps are out there, but like that seems unrealistic for most publishers that that's actually going to be a big driver. And so then if I have to go out and spend money on Instagram or TikTok or something else to get the users, well, then what is your function as an app store? Is it you're like a launcher for my app or something like that? And so I
yeah,
can see where this would make apps start to feel like, what are you even doing here? And I feel like web to app is so unique in this whole dynamic of paying app store fees or not paying app store fees because it's such a pure version of it. So let me pause for a second there though and ask you, like, what is web to app? Help people explain it who might not be super familiar with it.
Yeah, so Web2App is an approach to distribute your mobile app when you acquire new traffic, new users to web version of your app onboarding instead of like directing them to App Store directly. You'll land them on web landing page or web version of app onboarding or just web version of product, and then you sell subscription right on the web. And after purchasing subscription, users can go to App Store and download the app and redeem the just purchased subscription. Yeah, and this approach provides a lot of benefits. First of all, it's and the most important one is traffic attribution, because it works as a website basically. You can use Pixel and server to server integration with ad networks. So you can attribute each campaign, each ads to each user and the actions immediately. So you can get the signals immediately. You can train your campaigns on that, and you can test campaigns and ads quickly and with a much less budget, because you can get these signals immediately. The second thing is that there are like much lower payment fees. As I mentioned, usually it's like from 3 to 5%, depending on payment provider. And instead of like 15 to 30% in App Store, another benefit, it's like a higher subscription retention, because you can manage the whole flow of boarding of users. So when they want to cancel subscription in App Store, you cannot really control it. User just can delete the app and be asked like, if you want to cancel the subscription or not. Of course, I can cancel it. I want to cancel it because I deleted the app. In web payments, it doesn't work like this, and you can like control completely the flow. You can design it as you wish to balance like your subscription retention and find the like kind of like trade-off with the user, providing some win back offers and something like this. So it's very powerful technique to improve subscription retention. And there are a lot of more benefits, like flexibility of monetization. You can come up with different subscription configurations, pricing, whatever you can build with on your infrastructure and with the tools. And it's all basically unlock for app developers, help them unlock the new revenue stream that more predictable with a high performance. We did research. We published it recently, where we discovered that basically we compared two funnels. One funnel is like from ad click to purchase in app funnel, including like App Store, downloading the app, going through app version of onboarding and purchasing inside the app, and web to app, the same flow from ad click to going to through web onboarding and purchasing on web. And we discovered that the conversion rate is twice higher in web to app. And then we tried to learn what's the difference in LTV, and LTV is also higher, so it converts better and monetize your audience better, which is like explains why web to app is so popular and why it's growing right now, because it's just more provides a high performance in terms of metrics, in terms of unit economics and growth.
Yeah, these are great points, and I think you hit on one of the ones that was really surprising to me as I started to peel back some of the onion layers of web to app. So access to the data, the analytics and attribution was an obvious, clear benefit. Pricing and packaging flexibility compared to the restrictions of app stores, that was a clear benefit. I feel like owning the relationship with your user instead of like renting it from the app stores was another clear benefit. In very few other industries, do you not actually own the direct commercial relationship with your customers? So that made a lot of sense, especially if I'm the one paying for the traffic and user to come and like check out and use my app. The lower churn rate on subscriptions was a nice surprise, and we see that consistently across the app industry on web to app, and much higher subscription renewal rates leading to those higher LTVs, as you pointed out. But the bit that surprised me was the higher conversion rates. My assumption was that, the ease of purchasing through the App Store um, would lead to higher conversion rates. Now, that might be offset by the fact you're paying higher fees and having higher churn on those subscriptions. And that's what I initially kind of walked into this thinking would be the case, is that I'm going to yield, conversion rates in favor of higher profitability and higher LTV. I'm going to make more money, but with less transactions. And you actually have discovered it's the opposite. What do you think? Why is that? Is it because people can pay with like Apple Pay and Google Pay on the web and it's pretty easy there too? Or why do you think people are so willing to convert in a web funnel as
Yeah.
part of the UA campaign?
It's a good question. And it's a little bit tricky how you need to consider funnel. And there's like the common misconception of comparing funnels because in app funnel, um, developers get used to compare that with like from the first screen of onboarding, just missing that what happened before downloading the app. But it's also like the part of the funnel and the important part of the funnel. And if you compare that from ad click, from very first impression, you will see that there is like a huge drop on App Store page when a user need to decide if they want to download the app or not. And at this step, user has like low motivation to do it because it's quite obstacle for them and friction because they are not convinced yet uh, to try out and to download the app because they already like have a lot of apps. It's one more app, and why I need to download it just to try it out and check what's inside. And the first point. And the second point is that like the whole funnel is not consistent just because like when they see the ad on Instagram, when they like scrolling the feed and click on the ad, they land on App Store, which is App Store page, which is like generic, yeah, and not just like continuing the flow and compared to what we have in web to app. In web to app, when a user clicks on the ad creative, they land on web page where you can just continue the flow, continue asking them what they are looking for, what their like challenge, what their goals, and it looks more natural for users without any frictions in the very beginning. So you can convince users to keep going, to keep engaging in the flow without like any hard commitment steps with downloading the app or something like this. So they can engage in the very beginning and go to the paywall with more motivation to try out because they consider that like the majority of web funnels implemented in form of quiz with the like basically it's questionnaire asking them about their challenges, their goals, etc. Like personalizing the experience of the user. All this experience just provide the like sense of personalization for users, and they have a higher motivation to try out the product and to purchase it on at the end.
That makes a lot of sense. So if I'm directing my ads directly to the App Store, I kind of have this cold generic experience that every other app listing has on the App Store. I can't really tell a unique story. I can't take the context of the user right before they landed at this place and incorporate it into my design and tell a unique story that, hopefully sells my app and its value in a better way. And so I guess maybe that is more intuitive now that I think about it through that lens. But it's such a nice surprise. You get all these additional benefits of data, as well as higher conversion rates, higher LTV, lower churn associated with that. So it's a really interesting and exciting opportunity for folks. Now, one thing that comes up a lot, though, as people explore this strategy is like, is this allowed by app stores? Do app stores punish you for doing direct monetization? Does it affect your ASO? What are your thoughts on those kind of questions?
Yeah, it's a good question. Actually, it's fully allowed, and App Store and Apple just cannot restrict it anyhow because the whole experience and the purchase happens before the App Store. So basically, you have another version of your product, and web onboarding could be also count as a product, part of the product. You have a web version of the product, and mobile app is like one of the interface to that, and you acquire these users not from App Store, even if you buy it in Meta, for example, or TikTok. But the whole experience just lies on outside of App Store, and the user just download the app already with a subscription. There is a like you just need only to take care of like the good reviews of App Store, because users like tend to post reviews about payments in App Store, which is not like relevant, yeah, because it's not like App Store payments, it's web payments, and this is only thing that like Apple can be like reviewed and can be claimed that like, please, but you need to do something with that because it's web payments, no, not App Store payments. Yeah.
So I guess like if I think about it from like the high level, if my conversion rates are higher on my campaigns, I guess maybe I'm also getting more app downloads and installs, which probably doesn't hurt my app rankings as well. But it's interesting because in the way I think about web to app is I think I like to use like people I think often think of like the Spotify and Epic like lawsuits and
Yeah.
what they're going after. And that is really around linking from inside the app to the web or even embedding your own payments inside the app itself. And web to app is completely outside of all of that. The way I like to explain it to people is like with Netflix. If I go to Netflix's website and I pay for a subscription, I can use the Netflix app on my phone, and the App Store don't and shouldn't get a cut of that, and have had that policy for a very, very, very long time. And to your point, I'm the one as the app publisher paying for the user to discover the app. So not only is it allowed by policy, but it's kind of allowed by principle too, which is like if your value as a marketplace is bringing me the eyeballs, bringing me the users, if you're not even doing that, again, in principle, I shouldn't be charged extra for that. But in practice, in the actual terms, it is completely outside of things like steering and other kind of in-app experiences where there might be restrictions or different things that are allowed in different geographies. And I don't want to get all into the steering side of things, but from the web to app side, it's kind of completely independent of kind of the Spotify and Epic battles that are happening for the in-app experiences. Because to your point, it's all happening outside the app in the app store before you even get there. Is that fair?
Yeah, sure. But to clarify that, I wouldn't recommend to only stick of like web to app and get rid of like in-app purchases. No, you need to like leverage all the channels. So um, you can first get revenue and like decent revenue from App Store as well. So you need to use it as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Don't want people walking away thinking they should like go
Yeah.
all in and ignore in-app. Work with do what's best for your app, and obviously, like you said, diversify. Are there certain types of apps that you think are a better fit for web to app than others?
It's a good question, and it's different for different apps. And historically, Web2App is works very well for health and fitness apps because they uh, it was like more easier to come up with some questionnaire with like quiz, web onboarding works very well for health and fitness apps, and you can like do the like strong personalization of based on the answers of the questions and etc. Now Web2App goes far beyond of like health and fitness and getting momentum in photo and video verticals, even utility, educational apps. Quite gets a lot of benefits from web funnels. I think the only vertical of apps that quite struggling to launch web to app, it's probably games, but they have a web shop, which is like another form of web to app, yeah, but with another funnel. Apps like, I don't know, VPN, for example, also can distribute the apps through web to app, but it's more difficult because it's connected with the like functionality. So basically, you start paying when you start enabling the VPN, for example. But you can come up with some quiz to personalize the offer. So, for example, you can um, build an to target like different use cases. So, for example, you need to use VPN for security. It could be like a different offer for different type of product for you with a different offer with different pricing. Or for example, you need VPN to get access to like some restricted content websites, and it could be another offer. So you can use like web funnel and web to app just to segment your audience to provide them with the right offer.
It's a really interesting answer, and I like the notion that the best fits for web to apps from the app perspective are apps that have a funnel where you're trying to tell a unique kind of story, and where the flexibility of a web funnel would provide you a unique advantage over the inflexibility of linking directly to the app store. I like the idea of health and fitness being kind of lucrative for that because, like to your point, you could ask quizzes and questions. What are you trying to achieve? What kind of player are you? I guess if it was a sports app, like that kind of thing. And I think that's a really interesting way to think about things. What You kind of talked about mobile gaming for a minute, and that's such a different universe in terms of the strategies for direct monetization in mobile. But one of the areas that mobile games focus on is pricing and packaging when it comes to their web stores. And the common strategy there is to give more entitlements for the same price that you might offer in app, meaning that if I have a gem pack and it's 100 gems in the game, maybe it's 110 gems if you buy directly from the app store. So games tend to favor more entitlements for the same price. How do you think about pricing and packaging strategies for web to app funnels? Is it the same price? Is it at a discount, or is it the same price with more entitlements, or something else? How do you think about the best pricing and packaging strategies for web to app?
Yeah. The price used to be higher in web to app compared to in-app monetization, but now our research shows that like the pricing is quite the same. So like the app developers sell subscription with the same price, quite the same. Yeah, it's not like the same. It's like similar to what we have in app funnel. The only difference probably it's like configuration of this subscriptions. In web funnels, it's common thing that like it's called like paid trial when you charge users for example, like $3 or $1 for 7 days. Like it's called like paid trial, and after this trial, the full subscription starts. And also, the most common configuration is like 1 week trial and 1 month subscription, 3 month subscription, or 1 month subscription, 3 month subscription, and annual subscription plan. So this is like the most common configurations.
So that's really interesting. So like in gaming, I maybe as a gamer, I'm comparing the price, right? I have 100 gems I can buy in the app or 110 I can buy
Yeah.
on the web store. App users, particularly in web to app, they don't even know what the in-app price is. And so this idea that you would need to add entitlements or have a different or lower price on the web to encourage that behavior is kind of erased, not needed here, if you will. And so it sounds like what you're saying is that the true pricing and packaging advantage or strategy here is to take advantage of different subscription configurations and capabilities available through direct subscriptions. And that's the core value, and you don't really have to make it at a cheaper price or add additional entitlements to encourage users to, basically transact with you directly. It's such an interesting aspect of it. And I think a lot of people, when they think about web to app, they're thinking about the price parity versus the in app experience. But it sounds like from your perspective, it's more around the configuration and the flexibility rather than some sort of like price difference between the two experiences to incentivize that behavior. Is that a good way to think about it?
Yeah, yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah.
Um, I mentioned a couple of times the experience of monetizing through steering. And for those unfamiliar, that's basically linking to a web store or web funnel from inside the app or game, mobile game in the gaming sense. Um, do you feel like steering is a viable strategy for mobile apps? Is it, I haven't seen a ton of it. I know Spotify's been fighting for it. I've seen a few app publishers find some success with it with some of the lawsuits that have gone app publishers' ways in the US and other countries. Um, what are your thoughts on steering in the app context?
Yeah, I think it's one of the growth lever for app developers, and of course, I would recommend to try it out and uh, experiment with that to compare like not only conversion rate but the whole economics, including like refunds, cancellations, proceedings, and all the things. But yeah, I think that like it's a good way where mobile app market should go, like with the more flexible ways to monetize the audience, because you can even like offer different payment methods for users. So for example, someone can pay by PayPal, yeah, and it's really convenient, not just like stick with Apple Pay. I think it could be very beneficial for app developers to do that. And the only drawback that remains is attribution, and which like web2app resolves completely.
Yeah, I like that holistic way of thinking about things. And I earlier brought up LTV as a measure, thinking about the additional benefits of additional payment methods if you're thinking about in-app steering. Okay, so let's get back to web to app for a minute. And I've been really impressed testing out and seeing the capabilities of the FunnelFox platform and being able to build out and manage funnels there. FastSpring company I work for, I'm wearing the t-shirt, of course. And FunnelFox recently announced an integration. Help folks understand like how does that integration work and look like? And what are, I guess, are the benefits in your mind of using a merchant of record like FastSpring with FunnelFox?
Yeah, I think it's a huge thing because basically App Store and Google Play basically merchant of records itself. So if you don't have App Store payment infrastructure and you need to take all the risk on your own and do anything on your own, like it's like chargebacks, compliance, taxes, and payment performance with like different orchestration, different payment processing, acquiring, and all these boring technical things, which which app developers I think that should not focus on. They need to focus on their product and making the users happy, not that like infrastructure stuff. And merchant of record solution is the exact thing that app developers need for web payments, similar as they have it in App Store.
Very few people make that connection. If I'm explaining what a merchant of record payment provider is, I'm like, you're kind of familiar with it already because like the biggest merchant of record in the world is the App Store. And
Yeah.
a merchant of record payment provider is like a marketplace without the marketplace. And so people that are or app developers that are familiar with like never having to think about payment orchestration or taxes or even payments tech support, which is provided typically by providers like FastSpring, of course, including FastSpring. You never really think about that. Like Apple handles that for you, Google handles that for you. And I feel like people overlook that in terms of like the benefits of leveraging a merchant of record versus like doing payments directly yourself with a PSP. And I think it's interesting. I think one of the kind of good combinations of kind of the FunnelFox FastSpring integration is you're kind of trying to move faster and produce better results by leveraging a platform like FunnelFox versus like going out and coding all this yourself. And that's of course one of the other benefits of FastSpring is this idea of offloading in order to do a better job and move faster. So I think if I'm an app developer, especially if I've got a smaller team and I'm trying to be like really judicious with my resources, these are great options. And I think if I'm just trying to scale and I'm even a larger org, there's some benefits there as well. Last question for you before we wrap it up. You've been 16 years in the industry. You're kind of at the bleeding edge of monetization today in mobile apps. What do you think is on the horizon? Like what does the future hold for app growth?
Um, yeah, I think it will go with even more flexibility and diversification in terms of like channels and growth levels, especially like with AI, because AI helps not only like develop mobile app, but also it helps to distribute it. Like so, you can create automatically like ads and manage ads, and you even like can automatically create web funnels. Right now within FunnelFox we have our AI based builder, and I think that like the most of the thing will be automatical and optimized with the AI, and yeah, I think that eventually we'll see like more cases like Epic Games and with like improving and increasing flexibility, whether it will be like by Apple initiative or just like external one.
That's exciting stuff. I often say every day is the good old day for someday, and it sounds like there's a ton of opportunity ahead for
Yeah.
people to take advantage of, and I really love hearing that perspective. This was really great. Thank you so much for joining us today, Andre.
Thank you for conversation. Really enjoyed.
Excellent. If you'd like to learn more about what Andre is up to, you can visit funnelfox.com. If you'd like to learn more about the FastSpring and FunnelFox integration that makes web to app super easy, you can explore more at fastspring.com/funnelfox. Thanks everyone for joining us here on the Growth Stage podcast. Again, I'm your host, David Vogelpohl. I support the digital product community as part of my role at FastSpring, and I love to bring the best of the community to you here on Growth Stage. Bye, everybody.
Bye.